We hope you have your Game Boys ready for the brand new ROM hack coming out soon, Pokémon Peach and Lime. I don't know about the rest of you, but Papyrus is definitely going to be my starter when the demo drops next year. And speaking of things that are fire, welcome back to the 4th Eevee Expo and the first of a new era for our community. My name is Chase, and for those of you who don't know, back in April we relaunched the Eevee Expo not just as a showcase for awesome fan projects from all walks of development, but now as its own forum for indie games of all kinds. Whether you're looking for a Pokemon fan game or an independent project that piques your interest, make sure you throw all the love in the world to the incredible projects we showcased today by checking them out below, and get the new side of World too, yeah? But that's enough yapping from me. For now. Let's not waste any more time and jump straight into our first batch of trailers. Take a look.
Are you ready? Because your favorite Pokemonsters are jumping out of some of your fan-favorite games and into your Minecraft world. Put the moves and abilities of these Pokemon in battles beyond your wildest dreams. Catch your favorite Pokemon with some of the most stylish Pokeballs, or equip them with brand new battle items. You can even use some of our framework of moves and abilities to bring your very own Pokemon into reality, with 12 brand new types at your fingertips. You decide how this will elevate your Cobblemon experience in the next level.
I hope you enjoyed that round of trailers, featuring a returning entry from Expo 2 in Blooming Beasts, and our awesome new entries in Duelist, Fuso's Meteor, Pisces, and something entirely new to our little presentation. Gravelmon and Gravel's Extended Battles are a love letter to both the fangame and Minecraft communities. These two mods, built to work with Cobblemon, are crafted with love and care, allowing the community to not only play with some of the most beloved Fakemon from many different games like Insurgents and Xenoverse, but also battle with them using their own unique mechanics. Coming up, Deluxe Diablo and Chase had an awesome opportunity to speak with Dan Felder, game design director at Sky Castle Games, formerly of Riot, Blizzard, and EA, as well as Ben Arvey, game director at Lightmare Studios, the lead designer and engineer of Pokémon Salt and Shadow, about how you too can use professional game design processes within fan development. Take a look at the teaser.
Welcome everybody to this interview. My name is Lex Diablo. I'm joined by my co-host Pivotal. Today we're talking to the developers of Pokemon Salt and Shadow. Both of these guys, Dan and Ben, are professional developers as well, so we'll be talking a little bit about the intersection between fan games and professional development.
Would you guys like to tell us about Salt and Shadow for those who may be unfamiliar with the game?
We decided to do Salt and Shadow as game jam. I often like to run game jams with my friends who I know are really great developers. It's very easy to make games better by adding stuff, but if you can make a game better by removing something, you've saved development time to make something else cool, and you made the game better. And we decided to do Pokemon meets Dark Souls was one of the main prompts.
Talk to us a little bit about those mechanics.
Main idea is that I used to say gotta catch them all, but it's really gotta train a few. And so what I wanted to do is really say, well, catching Pokemon and using different Pokemon, exploring all the cool mechanics and how to play with them is really, really fun. I want to encourage that. I want to make it catch to progress. But ultimately I said, all right, what's the simplest possible way to do this? How could I do this in like an hour? And the answer was just turn off experience point gain. If you cannot train your Pokemon in battle, you have to catch a higher level Pokemon to get a higher level Pokemon. Then I hinted at this other core mechanic you might want to get into.
Yeah, we really wanted players to be trying different Pokemon and changing their team up. So when your Pokemon faints, you can have it back tomorrow. And tomorrow means after you rest in a bed. And there are only 13 tomorrows. The real magic of it is when you take a hard hit and you escape a battle and you say, how can I rebuild my team? How can I stretch this day out longer and make the resources count? That's where the game really hits the peak of Pokemon gameplay for me.
We've got a distress beacon.
I see it. Origin is nearby. It's coming from the planet's surface.
Right.
Yes, we're aware of it. Go to the site and investigate. Report back to me.
Whoa. Not much chance we'll find survivors.
Somebody sent the signal, Rollin.
Or something.
Even now, an armada, a vortex of unimaginable power hunts us. A crawl. All in their path will be destroyed. Every planet, this entire galaxy, unless we stop them.
Set out immediately to ascertain the identity of this enemy.
Understood.
And our only hope is the Spectrobes and you.
We're doing our best to eradicate the crawl.
I see. Use extreme caution when engaging them.
Spectrobes have many states. He is going to get bigger.
How much bigger?
The Keystones contain galactic technology technology created eons ago. They're truly man-made wonders.
First you come into my museum and walk out with a treasure. Now you're talking about traveling to the outer planets.
Hi, I'm Lux. That last section of trailers had it all. A parody game, a gripping story-based game, a ROM hack that's not even Pokemon, and even a game that you could contribute to. Y'all never cease to amaze me, you know that? On the topic of really unique and amazing projects, let's take a look at some updates for the tools that help you make it happen. With both 3DPE and Essential GSC, two tools that continue to impress, the ability to create different styles of projects is never out of reach. We can't wait to see what cool and unique features are in store for their next releases. Now, it's time to get your sunblock ready, because it's time to turn up the heat with our new and improved sizzle reel.
Hello, I'm BirdUp. Welcome to the Karpe Diem Direct. Let's take a look. Get hooked by this Pokemon slice of life.
It's that time of year again. Karpe Diem, the famous festival of the Joyzy region, brings travelers from far and wide to compete in a fishing competition. Set out on an adventure to become the next Karpe Diem champion. Face off against a worthy rival, meet helpful strangers, and solve thematic puzzles, all for the Game Boy Color.
past. I always imagined this would last. Just give me one last chance to take it back. Don't wanna leave my reality. Reptiles and miles of trackage should go back home. We must find a way home. Who am I in the story that is foretold? Why can't I decide who I want to be? My reality. In my reality.
Along with our brand new forums, Eevee Expo also hosted a jam this summer. Participants were able to work in teams of up to 4 people to submit a game made in less than 6 weeks. This year, in celebration of the site launch, we went with the theme of rebirth to represent our brand new start. As always, I recommend playing every one of these games to see how they rose from the ashes and won up the competition in unique ways. Ash. Where have I heard that before? Oh, right! One of the spotlights this year is Town of Ashes by Brawligator and Pikachu Mazinga, a gorgeous bite-sized roguelite experience where the player climbs a procedurally generated tower, collecting exciting Pokemon and pivotal relics along the way to the top. Throughout each run, you'll learn more about the tower's history and topple a pantheon of corrupt legends that change type during the battle. Pokemon Berserk, one of the community spotlights this gem, is an absolute ride. Follow the saga of mysterious phenomenon known as Awakening, a strange power that unlocks the latent strength locked away in a Pokemon's genetic code, but not without its consequence. I want to tell you more, but it's best to experience the story for yourself. Let's take a break from life and death. Let's turn down the stakes a little bit. Pokemon The Slowpoke Shack by Kenny Catches and my boss Endless. Archer, the protagonist, is moving to Silver Spring to fulfill his dream of opening a restaurant. Serve customers, acquaint yourself with your new neighbors, and manage complicated family dynamics in this super cute slice of life. But if you don't want to deal with family, or even being a human, you could check out Pokémon A Star in the Desert by the Expo's very own Ronko and Mashiro Sakura. This very cute Mystery Dungeon-inspired game has the player alongside Sobby the Sobble applying to be bounty hunters in remote Sandy Square. In this wholesome story of action and justice, take advantage of the tools at your disposal to combat your weaknesses in battle. Finally, brought to you by the team behind Pokémon Rosen, is Pokémon Covenant. Tasked with piecing back together your shattered heart as repentance for past misdeeds, encounter and overcome the temptations of the vices, powerful personifications of human impurities. It's best to remain virtuous in the damn city of Varia, otherwise you too could succumb to the call of fear, greed, and sloth. But that's just the jam release. Let's show you what they and a few others have in store for us going forward.
And that's the last of the trailers for today's presentation. What did you think? Make sure to share with us which games caught your eye. Thank you all so much for joining us in this first Expo in the new era of our community. Keep an eye out for the full interview with the developers of Pokémon Salt and Shadow, and stay tuned for our other future content. But that's it. Yep, that's right. No rug pull this time. We've never done that. Ever. In our entire lives. Unless